everybody, it's Bree the Plant Lady. I thought I'd give you a quick foodscape tour. Here we are, the middle of July. It's crazy hot. Today's actually the hottest day of the year so far. The heat index is 106. And I need to turn on some sprinklers. Here's the front bed that I just posted a video on. And you know, it's definitely lacking like a permanent shrub element. But it's just too hot in the middle of summer to plant permanent things. So right now it's just filled with annuals. And I think they're gonna fill out and look good for this season, but I do have the intention of putting in some permanent shrub elements to make this sort of anchored. And we'll just do a walk around the whole yard. So here, this is east facing. Everything looks good. These sweet summer hydrangeas are so beautiful. And if you see behind here, that's that holly hedge that I posted a video on where I really cut them back way hard. And I need to come now with hedge clippers and just trim it up and make this look organized. And that succulent window box looks awesome. I've not watered it since I hung it. Gotta love low maintenance. Phlox are blooming, but hardly any butterflies. It's so sad. There's tons of bees, but serious butterfly deficit this year. This is the north side of my house, and it's a literal hodgepodge of perennials and trees and shrubs that I planted here 9 years ago with the intention that I would move them. I never did. You know, such is life. Hey! My neighbor's little wiener dog. He wants to greet me. So coming into the backyard, these borders look great. They're still lush and green, not too wilty. I haven't been running sprinklers that much because we have been getting rain. One huge problem that I've created is, you know, I love to scatter seed because I love ground plane coverage. Well, some of the seed that I've scattered is kind of turning out to be a problem. So this is a mix of arugula and daikon radish that is just self-sown. You know, these are cool season crops, so I just thought they wouldn't grow through the heat of the summer, but here they are. Oh my goodness. So I don't totally know what to do, so I'm just not doing anything. It's part of the reason I'm not running sprinklers, because I wouldn't mind if they would just like die out from the heat, but they haven't. So coming into my greenhouse area, the 100-gallon root pouches here and here are doing fantastic. If there is one success story of 2020, it's these things. If you have never grown in a 100-gallon root pouch, do yourself a favor and invest in a few. They definitely make like raised bed gardening. They take it to a new level. I'm completely hooked on those. The productivity of everything in them is just, it's off the charts. And I'll show you a kind of what I consider a failure. So these are the root maker bags and containers that I've used very successfully in years past, but I had them oriented a different direction. So this is west facing. This is the west side of my greenhouse, and it's too hot. They dry out every day. So I'll soon be clearing these out. I haven't even harvested a single ripe tomato from this patch, and I'm already considering ripping them out. The one success of this area are these tomatoes growing directly in the soil cube plastic bags, which, look, I know it's not pretty, but good grief. Look at how healthy these plants are compared to this, you know? There's no questioning it. So that would be my recommendation for 2020. If you don't let a 100-gallon root pouch, just get 1 cubic foot bags of soil cube and grow directly in those. I mean, look at that healthy tomato foliage versus what's planted right behind it in like a fabric bag. Just no comparison. And I am really excited that I think this is a cantaloupe or some sort of melon growing up there from All American Selections. So when it ripens, I'm gonna have to do some internet sleuthing, figure out what it actually is. Over here, these are some of the parsnips that those swallowtail caterpillars were eating, and they've disappeared. I hope that means that they will soon turn into butterflies, but I just, it's been really, this year's been depressing, period. But the fact that there's like no butterfly activity, it's just, yeah, I don't know. That was usually like the one saving grace of the heat of July. Now, one plant that really is just like the most amazing thing ever, I can't say enough good things about it, is this flamethrower redbud. And if you can get one, just do it. You'll not regret it. It looks like this the entire growing season. And it's just, I think it's so beautiful. I see it from my kitchen window, and it does bring a smile to my face. So we'll walk across over to the border that I just planted last week. I just posted a video on this, and I am so aggravated to see that this daikon radish is just seeding all through this bed. Oh my God, I've created such a monster. Oh my goodness. So my recommendation is grow daikon, but do not let it go to seed. Take it out before it flowers or right after it flowers. Don't do what I did, which is mow it in place and let the seeds just go everywhere, because this is just becoming a massive, massive problem for me. I don't want daikon everywhere. But you can see things that I sowed just a few days ago, they're germinating really fast. Those are zucchinis. There's some corn coming up right there. I don't see the okra yet, but I'm hopeful that in a few weeks' time this will really, you know, be full and dense and pretty. And this border, which was planted like a month earlier, is looking great. I'm really happy to see the peppers are really starting to get some size. Usually I don't have like big harvests on peppers until like September. I think it's something about day length, maybe night temperatures. And then a border I don't show very often, which is on my neighbor's side of our fence. I think this is doing great, and this is that Seminole pumpkin that the Florida Master Gardeners gave me seeds of, and it's doing wonderfully here in a little more shade. So we planted that throughout this border. Of course, all that damn daikon radish is self-sown through here as well. I really think that I may have created a problem. But other things growing is, this is sorghum, and then a huge border of sunflowers. So I'm glad to see that we're gonna have sunflowers somewhere, because all the sunflowers that I planted out front are not doing very well because I haven't really been watering that border enough. So I try to make it so the neighbors are never offended, you know, by my obsession with plants. So I hate for horticulture to be the thing that causes difficulty. And then I want to show you this border. This is another plant area that I would consider a failure on my part. I actually made this mound a little too high, and it's really hard to keep watered, and everything wilts pretty much every day. Believe it or not, I do run a sprinkler on this almost daily, and the plants just never really perform as they should. And I probably should get in here and dig some of the soil out so that it's not so raised, so it would actually hold a little more moisture. You know, these are some of the lessons that you learn when you do things wrong. For me, I learn a lot more from my failures than my successes. This shrub border, I did a hard cut back on this, I guess in, I don't know, May or June. And this hasn't been irrigated at all. Everything looks fine. You know what? This is not an area I really interact with anymore. My neighbors have 2 dogs and they like to run through this bed, so we've literally given this bed to the dogs. And then another bed that I'm definitely kind of depressed about is what we call the wave, which is where I was growing all the wheat through the winter. And I think there's two problems here. My trees are getting just big enough where they're casting a lot of shade, preventing these sun-loving plants from growing well, and I haven't been irrigating out here. You can see by the status of the turf. So I have been debating on what to do. I think my current plan is to get some mulch and just try and clean it up by, edging it and putting down a layer of mulch, and then maybe doing some sort of planting in late August, some sort of short-term fall planting, maybe kale and Swiss chard, or I don't know. But I don't think that I'm going to be able to grow things like corn and okra and sunflowers in a bed that doesn't get enough sun. One plant that has done really well through here that self-sows is sesame. So I don't want to get rid of the sesame because I love it. But you see this section that gets more sun than shade is the one area that's doing really well. But in years past, this was just a massive border with 12-foot tall sunflowers, and that just doesn't seem like it's gonna be a reality now. So thanks for tuning in, and I hope that you've been inspired and learned a little from this random foodscape tour on a really hot July day here in Zone 7, Central North Carolina.